Walk into a high-end wellness spa, or increasingly a progressive hospital ward, and you might find someone receiving a Reiki treatment. Millions of people around the world actively participate in this practice. Originating in Japan, the premise is straightforward. A practitioner hovers or lightly places their hands over a resting person, aiming to channel universal life energy into the body to promote healing. Curious, but this creates an interesting collision. While millions of users report feeling less stressed and more physically balanced, physicists and doctors point out a glaring issue. The specific energy this practice relies on does not actually exist. Why do so many people actively seek out and genuinely feel relief from a practice that modern science dictates has no biological mechanism? To understand Reiki, we have to look at it through two entirely separate lenses: what practitioners believe they are experiencing, and what objective science proves is actually happening. Let's start with the belief system. When Reiki emerged in early 20th century Japan, it was not designed as a modern medical therapy. It was a dedicated spiritual discipline. The foundation is the concept of universal life energy, the belief that an unseen, vital force flows continuously through all living things in the environment. This flowchart illustrates the intended mechanism. The practitioner acts as a conduit, channeling a broad environmental source directly into the client. They hover their hands over these specific areas, representing energy centers, where this force pools. People book these sessions for the subjective experiences they provide. Clients frequently report profound relaxation, a sense of emotional grounding, and a sharp drop in stress. Within the framework of a wellness practice, Reiki accomplishes exactly what it sets out to do. It provides a deeply comforting experience that allows individuals to feel cared for and emotionally balanced. But if we switch lenses and apply the scientific method, the criteria for success changes from subjective emotional comfort to measurable objective physics. The physical reality is stark. There is zero empirical evidence that a measurable healing energy exists in nature. Sensitive instruments easily detect the thermal and electromagnetic frequencies the human body emits, but looking for a distinct Reiki energy yields a flat, null value. Clinically, large-scale reviews show outcomes sit at parity with control groups, biologically altering no disease. The medical community's primary criticism centers on safety. A severe danger arises when patients choose Reiki in place of evidence-based treatments for serious illnesses. Scientifically speaking, Reiki operates entirely outside the realm of evidence-based medicine, failing the core criteria required to be classified as a medical intervention. Which brings us to a paradox. If the energy isn't physically real, and the clinical data shows no medical efficacy, why do millions of people genuinely feel physically better after a session? The answer lies in the physiology of dedicated relaxation. Lying still in a quiet room and engaging in deep breathing naturally triggers your parasympathetic nervous system, actively calming the body. This logic tree maps out the psychological impact. We don't need external energy to see a result. The environmental inputs, a quiet room, focused human attention, and the expectation of relief directly trigger physiological stress reduction markers in the brain. The placebo effect, combined with the comforting presence of an attentive person, tangibly reduces perceived stress. This defines the exact boundary of the practice. Reiki is a spiritual wellness ritual, not a medical treatment. As long as it does not replace professional medical care, it is a perfectly harmless activity. Human beings benefit profoundly from taking a dedicated moment to stop, breathe, and feel cared for. The relief experienced on that table is entirely real, even if the mechanism is simply the undeniable power of human psychology and peace of mind.